Welcome back, my friends. My name is Eric. This is Rome, and we're back with some Star Citizen today. Now, I'd recorded a bunch of these videos earlier, and I just wasn't happy with them, partly because I was beginning to figure the game out again, and so there were a few extra, missteps. But we're going to jump into them. I'm going to do just a kind of a small series of videos on Star Citizen showing kind of the different kind of game loops that are in the game. We're not going to do everything, but we're going to do kind of some of the simpler, easier, basicer ones to jump into, just to show you that there's some content to the game. I've been playing the crap out of it. My buddy Nate and I played until like 3:30 the other night, and I'm up till like 1:30 pretty much every night playing on this. So while the game doesn't exist yet, according to the critics, I'm up really late playing vaporware. So this is Star Citizen. When you log into the game, you're going to be one of two places, either in essentially a hotel, or you're going to be in your ship, depending on where you logged out at. Now, if you log out on a station or on a planet or in just some random place, you're going to wake up in a hotel nearest to wherever it is you logged out. So I'm in the hotel of the hab of the station I logged out in last night. If you want to log out in your ship needs to have a bed, and you need to be essentially outside of the atmosphere of a planet, and then outside of the armistice area of a station, which is about 11 kilometers or so. And then you can go to bed and log out from there. There's a little special step for that, but that's the basics. So we're here. So we're gonna today do an extra mission here. I'm going to do a cargo mission. Cargo, in my opinion, is the simplest, easiest, most consistent way to make money in Star Citizen at the current state. Now, this is version, hold on, I will eventually show you. Can I show exactly where I'm at? We go to... we are in 4.0.1 live 95087888. So there is a 4.0.2 coming very quickly. It is in the test universe, the PTU at the moment, and they patched it yesterday with huge success. There's one last big bug, which is that there's a disconnect sometimes between the elevators. Where am I going? Nowhere, because... Come on, lobby door's open. Because sometimes when you click the elevator door, the elevator door does not open, which is a real pain in the ass because there are a lot of elevators in this game. Some of which are avoidable, like they could have put in stairs, but those aren't generally the elevators that cause problems. The elevators that cause problems are between the station or wherever you happen to be and your hangar. Now, it is more likely to be an issue on a planet that has... or planet or a station that has a heavy population. That seems to be when it breaks down. At big rough areas, it breaks down. There's some sort of communication issue in the servers, apparently, and it breaks down. So that's the last big hurdle they have to follow. Now, you see, you can't see because my face is in the way. Let me move my face here real quick. I am hungry and thirsty, so I'm going to take care of those real quick. There are some basic survival mechanics in the game. So if we were to go straight forward there, you can see that there is there's some security gates down there in the distance. That'll take us to our hangar. I'm going to turn around and take this elevator behind me real quick, and we're going to go up here, and we're just going to get something to eat and something to drink, and then we'll go out, and what we're going to do today is we're going to run a cargo mission. And... like I said, this is the easiest way, I think, to make consistent money. Not fast money, right? You're not going to, at least a fish early on, you're not going to get huge money. I got to figure out where... What is that? Shop. All right, that's ship equipment. That is clothing. These stations all have kind of a mall level called the Galleria. Sorry, excuse me, I know you're cleaning. I apologize. Food court, that's what we're looking for. Try to get around the station maintenance workers here doing their job. Locker room. At some point, these lockers will work, and you could like get off your ship in your spacesuit, come here, change into your clothes, go to the bar, do whatever you want to do. At the moment, I just more or less live, grab a bite to eat. Vending machines don't work right now either, but eventually I'm sure they are going to work too, is the idea. And you can come grab a bite to eat. So here we are in the food court of Bajini Point. Noodles, do I want noodles? Now I want a burrito. Where's the burrito bar? There are different types of food. Juice bars, noodle bars, hot dog. Pizza doesn't work yet. There's a pizza place, but you can't buy the pizza yet. So we're going to come in here now. I am not wearing my helmet at the moment, so I can eat. If you have your helmet on, you cannot eat. I think that makes sense because you're wearing a helmet. So we're going to come over here real quick. We are going to grab... it doesn't really matter, honestly, but I'm going to go for a citrus beef burrito. So hit F real quick.
Hey, welcome.
And then I am going to hit carry once, and this will essentially buy it, right? That's saying, okay, I want to own that, and then I can click it one more to eat it. If I click store, it'll put it in my backpack or wherever it is that I have set for my my default. And you can't see it, but my food, my hunger went up to 100%, so I'm good. So I'm gonna come over here. I'm gonna get myself a bottle of water. You can see there's some people that are making a mess over here. Garbage cans are actually one of the more difficult mini games in the game.
Everything going on
until you figure it out, and then it's a really easy one. Oh, it's just gonna let me drink this one right away. I don't have to.
Well, hey there.
You're supposed to do the same thing with the water, but it took a double click or something and made it bought it from right away. So,
Hi there.
mini game for the garbage cans. Easiest way. Now that you've drank it, it's no longer of use. You can place it. So if you do this, it's probably gonna come down and bounce. But if you get it so it does straight up like that, it'll drop straight in. See how easy that is? So you can grab another one and go, you know what? I'm not a slob unlike some of you guys in the verse. We got Matthew McConaughey working the counter back there, by the way. Yeah. There we go. All right. I need to get back out of here, and now I'm going to go get my elevator, hopefully. We'll see. If you have problems with elevators or other weird, consistent, glitchy bugs, the easiest thing to do is essentially to shard hop. However, you can't... The game has broken into various shards, and then within that shard, there's a series of servers that cover all the areas, and each area has kind of its own set number of servers, and those mesh together. Server meshing is one of the big, huge technical marvels of this game. Not that it's been impossible before, but they're just taking it to levels that have never been done before. And it means that you can go from walking out of your player-made base on the planet, PM, those are coming soon, onto a planet, walk out, run around, get in a spaceship, fly into space, get out, walk in a space station, get back into your ship, warp to another system, solar system, find a wormhole, like all that stuff without a loading screen, right? Because everything instantly meshes and hands you off from one server to the next. And that's the idea. That's the idea. Do we have rentals here? No, just a waiting room. It's supposed to be an airport, right? So you got to have some of this stuff. Where the hell did I go wrong? I don't know this station at all if it's not obvious. Platinum Bay is a place you can buy some gear from. We'll get into commodity trading and stuff later, and that will be more important then. There's our elevators. Upstairs is probably the administration, which is where, again, you can buy some commodities if you're going to do that, and we will do some of that. But that is not the purpose of this video today. Elevators do occasionally not exist when you call them. So you'll call the elevator door will open, and a portal into the end of the galaxy will appear. Don't step into it. If there's not an actual elevator through those doors, don't walk into the elevator shaft. You will fall through the galaxy. Just let the door close, open it again, and usually it'll be back. Now, what you're going to do normally is you're going to come up here, you're going to hit your fleet manager, and you are going to recall one of your ships. The only ship I have here at this station is the Constellation Taurus. I'm hoping this is another bug that bugs the crap out of me. That's why they're called bugs. That my hangar will be here even though I haven't called a ship yet. Yeah, because I only have the one ship here, and I have landed here. Now, oftentimes your hangar will not show up there. It's not supposed to show up till you call a ship. At some point there will be persistence, and your hangars will exist forever, and you can decorate them and do whatever you want with them. That's not in the game at the moment. It has been in the past, as they work on bugs and they figure things out, but at the moment it's not. The problem is sometimes when your ship gets moved on, we're going to watch it right here. When you call a ship, what happens is those doors are going to open up.
Your vehicle has been delivered to the... Please visit us again.
These doors are going to open up, and this platform is going to go down. Or, sorry, the platform is going to go down, then the doors are going to close. Then your ship is going to be pushed out onto that platform. The doors will open back up, and it's going to come up. And sometimes what happens is when it gets pushed out, there's a bug, there's an issue, it doesn't get pushed out quite correctly and it gets destroyed. It comes up wonky, it comes up upside down, it comes up whatever, it gets destroyed by the doors when it come up. And so your ship is going to get wiped out. Now, it's not the end of the world. You get insurance on all these ships, and right now in the alpha, that everybody gets 100% insurance for 100% of the time. And so it's not a big deal. You just have to go back to that fleet terminal, put in an insurance claim, and your ship will come back. But there is a wait. There's a delay, and the bigger the ship, the longer the delay, or the more expensive the ship, the longer delay, I think is more accurate. Although, don't quote me on that. And so you have to wait, and I didn't want to wait. The other thing is your ship is destroyed. If there's cargo and stuff on it, it's destroyed as well. All of your equipment, your gear, your guns, if you've upgraded anything on it, that all stays, right? Once you've upgraded the ship, that persistence stays even with an insurance claim. Your insurance claim covers all your upgrades, right? So if you put a big system in it, you put new mufflers on it, whatever, right? You keep all that. So what we're going to do today is, I've got a bigger ship here today. You don't need a ship this big to do these missions. In fact, you can do these missions with anything that has a cargo space. The more cargo space, the easier obviously it is, but sometimes the more difficult it is to fly, and sometimes that slows you down in and of itself. So as you can see, my fleet manager, I've got crew and I've got cargo. So for instance, this Anvil 8 Pisces, which is one of the, this is the ship you get in the tutorial. In fact, my tutorial was bugged and I ended up with 2 of them, and it let me keep them forever. I don't think I purchased these. I don't think I got these as part of anything else, but I have them and I'm gonna keep using them. Because I do really like them. They have a cargo space of 4, which means they have a cargo grid, a place that you can actually lock down cargo, use a gravity or magnetics or something. Think of it as an area of the thing that has tie-down straps. Think about you rent a box truck to move your house. Some of them have nice tie-down straps along the wall that you can strap stuff down to, and some don't. This is the cargo grid, is the place that you have the tie-down straps, right? It doesn't mean it's the only place you can put cargo. It does mean it's the only place that it will stay and not necessarily move around based on what's happening, right? So you can do this with anything. If you've only got 4, but you've got a mission that requires you to move 12, well, it's going to take you 3 trips, essentially, right? The other thing to keep track of is that cargo comes in different sizes. And so depending on that cargo grid is going to determine what size of cargo container you can take. And that makes sense, right? Everything up from a steamer trunk up to a full-on freight container like we would stuff gets moved on in shipping. I'm going to come over here. I will show you this ship technically has 172 CU. Each CU is essentially one block of that, right? So this can handle essentially a 4x3 high on the cargo grid. And then, which is, if you do the math on this, and 28 long, I think. You do the math, isn't 172, it's like 164. This one has some hidden storage back up there in the back. Some of the other models of the ship have a little drop-down freighter that can come from there, little fighter that'll pop out, and some other things. But this one's got like a shielded storage, which I think can be used for smuggling. There's a couple ships that have shielded cargo holds. We're not going to do that today, but keep in mind that's a pain in the butt to get to. So when you're going to fill this and you're like, you see that 172, doesn't necessarily mean 172, at least not 172 obvious. Easier. So now what we're going to do is we've taken a lot of time here. We're going to go ahead and hit F1. This is going to open our Moby Glass. We're going to go to contracts, and we are going to want to get a hauling contract. Now, as you do various contracts and various things, you are going to start to build faction with people. So you can see I have a little bit of bounty hunter faction. I've got a little bit of civilian defense, very little. Kovalex is the cargo hauling. And you can see I am just a skosh away from finishing my junior and going up to member. Each of these is going to open different options. I'm hoping the next option of member is going to allow me to get missions with bigger cargo containers. So I don't have to do as much work in between. But at the moment, we're a junior. So we're going to go to contracts. We're going to have an option between rookie and junior hauling contracts. And you can see here, this is a junior rank planetary small cargo haul. Now, it means we're going to be headed to a planet, and we might be headed to 2 places because it's not direct, right? So at least 2 places, either 2 places to deliver stuff or 2 places to gather stuff at a minimum, maybe more. In this case, we have to get ore from 2 different mining stations, Sal 5 and Sal 2 for the Shubin mining, and then, and 3, and we also have to get some tungsten. And from 5, and some corundum from 2. So aluminum and tungsten from 5, aluminum and corundum from 2, and then we have to bring that to here, which is where I'm at, and all that's got to be delivered. So that is a standard one, right? If you see one that says direct, This means you're only going to go from one place to one place. You see, get waste from Samson and Son Salvage and take it to Bikini Point, which is where I am right now. So these missions are going to change a little bit based on where you take them. Hauling is the least changeable. Sounds like a cargo container bouncing around in the background, but there shouldn't be any cargo containers, so I'm assuming it's just a background noise. So you have these, and you can see they cost different things. These waste collection places are kind of a pain in the butt, and they pay a little bit better. They're kind of they're what you think. You're landing at a dump, and you're collecting waste, or you're collecting salvage, and you're taking it to some place for disposal. Right? That's the idea. Generally, the more stops, the more stuff you have to do, the more you get paid. The higher the level, the more you get paid. But essentially, you're looking at about 50K per mission, and you can match it. So right now, this one says collect stims here from Bikini Point, and we're going to take them to the Shubing Mining 5 or 2. Well, I could combine that with this one and this one that requires I collect stuff at 5. So I can go ahead and get the stuff I need, and then when I drop off the stuff at 5, I can pick up this, hop over to 2, get the rest, come back up here, and do a nice little loop and cut down on the number of loops. So, number of jumps you have to make. So, what you can do is you combine all of these different options to get a lot more done. And the bigger ship and the more organized you are, the more of these missions you can do and the more efficient you can do this. So, if you get lucky with the missions that are optioned and the loops you can do, you can easily make $200,000-$300,000 with a reasonable sized ship running these small cargo missions, just multifaceted. So, planetary, solar. Right, this tells us where we're going, right? We're going to be in the solar system. Within the solar system, we're not going to have to jump very far, right? Direct for both. What else we got in here? These are all rookies. Junior, obviously, is the slightly higher one. And this one also happens to be medium. Now, there are junior small. So there's extra small, small, and medium so far that I've found. And I'm going to assume there's going to be some large and some extra large at some point. And those are going to determine how much material you actually have to move, not the cargo containers specifically. Now, I believe the higher levels of faction are going to give you larger containers that you have to move, which means, for instance, I could do a junior one. These are going to come in up to 8 CU or SCU containers. So as long as I have a ship that can handle 1 8 SCU, I could take each of those one at a time. I don't necessarily need a big ship. I'm just going to have to take more trips. A small one, they come in 1s and 2s. I don't even think they come in 4s. But I could be wrong on that. But you can get by with a much smaller ship and just take more trips to do it. So obviously the difficulty is you need a bigger ship to handle the bigger cargo containers, right? That's the idea. So this one here, 103. This is pretty normal, kind of high 90s, 98 up to 111, 114 is about what you're going to need for these medium haulers. This is a good one. We're going to do this one for us today right here. It's from Bikini Point to Riker Memorial Spaceport. These are both busy ports. These are both space stations directly above, geosynchronous to the main capital cities on the various planets. The planets are controlled by various mega corporations in the system. This is the Stantum system. And that's just how this system is set up. It's kind of an economic free zone, so to speak. So we're going to go ahead and take this one, and then I'm going to get this stuff loaded up. So once you take your mission, you have to get your stuff. So you're going to come over here to this freight elevator right here. And we're going to come up here, and we're going to hit F to use our freight manager. It's going to load our containers. You can see everything's here, but our elevator is right here with us, right? Am I not showing the mouse on this? Oh, there it is. Oh, something to keep track of. I have a widescreen monitor. It's 5280 by 1440 or whatever it is. It's two 1440p monitors squished together. Specifically for this game, but I know you guys don't have that size monitor, most of you, and so I'm cutting this down for being something a little bit more manageable to see. So I've actually shrunk down and given you most of the middle. This game, let's see if we can. I'm going to back out of this. Does not give me an option to do like just a 1440p, just a single 2560 by 1440p option for my graphics. So if we go to graphics here, I'm in windowed. It does not let me slide the window down to whatever size you can see. Right now I'm in 3840 by 1080, so I can still see my recording software off to the side of the monitor. Normally I'll record in 2560 by 1440 and then have my window off to the side and another one up to that big, and I'll be fine. This one, we're a little wider, and then I'm just showing you, the middle of the screen more or less, right? It's canted a little bit over, with the middle a little bit farther this way just because of the way the HUD works, the way it's spread out on the screen, just so you see everything. So I'm going to see a tiny bit more than you, but that's just because of my field of view is a little bit greater because of that. But it doesn't give me, see, 3840 by 1080. There's no 1440 except for the full fat. There's a 1920 by 1480 or 1440. No, now it's showing it. It didn't earlier. What the hell? I did change the renders, so maybe that's the difference. And I meant to look at it, and I did. 2560 by 1440. Let's click this. Okay. Yes. Yeah, we want that. Now we move this over. Holy crap, you guys have seen a miracle. I killed the game. It crashed. It crashed hard. And when I came back in the game, instead of putting me back at my area, now there's some issues going on. But it actually brought me back to where the game had crashed at. I've never seen that before. Wow, and gave me my cargo mission back. Now, we got some problems with the doors, right? These hangars are instanced. They're the only thing that are kind of, the private areas are kind of instanced in here, so you can set them up however you want. The rest, they don't have to have, there's 4.5 million subscribers, buyers of this game so far. They don't want to have 4.5 million places at every place for each of you individually. So those are instances. So sometimes you see a little bit of overlap where the two instances overlap, and you'll have a ghost ship come land on your hangar or something like that. So that's what we saw there. But the fact that it brought me in on that is really crazy. I was playing with the graphics on this. I'm still not happy with what I have. I'm missing the very bottom of my screen because it is in windowed mode, and when I tried to go to an unwindowed mode, it wouldn't do it. That's what killed it. To be fair, I'm not upset about it. The graphic settings are a little bit Now, they're the easiest thing for them to fix in the long run when they get to beta and they're really worried about polish. But for the most part, because they're not changing the world with that stuff, All right, but we're here. So we're gonna get back into it. Oh, that window's flickering pretty bad too. We're gonna load our contents. Hopefully they're gonna show up this time. I'm gonna hit down, and that is gonna lower the cargo elevator down. And you can see here, when we look up, the door closes, the elevator goes down. We get back in here. We're gonna this screen is now weaken clickable, so we can drag. Wow, that is terrible. I haven't seen that before. That's part of this graphic issue that I just caused. Drag your stuff over and raise the elevator, and we'll do the opposite when we turn our stuff in. I'm gonna make one more attempt at this here in a second. Elevator comes back up, door goes. We're gonna wait from that flickering screen. I'm gonna check my graphics settings one more time. Options, graphics, 2560 by 1440, windowed. Now I just want to change this to a borderless. There we go. That fixed it. Perfect. Perfect. Turn the game. Now, is this still going to be flaky, or does it like me now? No, it's still jacked up. We're going to ignore it. So I'm going to pull out my tractor beam. You do need a tractor beam. This is one of the larger ones. There are also some smaller ones. The bigger the tractor beam, the larger the object it can move, and the farther it can push it, right? Just think it was more power. Now, this ship does have its own tractor beam. It's got a turret that pops down from the front. It can be used to haul this. Now, I got to come here to interact with this anyway. So for me, it's usually just faster to come down here and use this. However, if you're doing multi-crew, if you got 2 or 3 guys, you can send one person down here to do this, and then one person in the turret to run the tractor beam. It can go much quicker. Essentially, you can toss these over to one central area. He can get it, take his time, load everything up, or vice versa, because he's got the most powerful tractor beam. There's a cargo hangar on the other side of the ship back closer to that door, right? There's one diagonal in the place. He could be pulling stuff out, just drop it down here in front, and then one person could very carefully see the doors moving again. You have to embrace the Jenkins Star system. It is an alpha, right? Think of that. It reminds you every time you log in, it's an alpha. Understand that. Don't get frustrated with it. Just understand that sometimes the game that you're playing is made more interesting by the fact that you're an alpha, right? This isn't a polished section of the game. This is add mechanics, and mechanics are going to break things. So you have to have the right attitude. If you're not going to play with that attitude, wait, because this is going to be a good game. It really is. But at the moment, it's an alpha. It's a playable alpha, but it's an alpha. So, a lot of people that don't seem to understand that. So anyway, so you could drop this stuff. Oh, see, there we go. There we go. Oh my God, he did not do a good landing. He did some damage on his way in. Landing is the most difficult thing in the game. He did some damage. Oh, we're getting all the jank today, boys. All right, landing gears. He didn't have his landing gears that came on, and he came in hot. I'm surprised his ship did not explode on impact there, if I'm honest. This is a ship I'd like, but I haven't been able to rationalize getting it because it doesn't do anything my ships don't already do better. It's a great all-arounder. The C1 Spirit might be the best daily driver early on in the game for you. I have a couple other ships that kind of take that role. I've got way too much. Yeah, we're going to see what happens to that. But for the moment, we're going to ignore it. That's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. I'll be honest with you. I almost never see, like once in a while, a ship flickers in for a second and then flickers out and see it's still there. But we're going to ignore it. I don't think it's going to affect us today at all. So I told you that you can kind of stage stuff, and that's what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to use my cargo holder. I'm going to move all these over. Yep, and now he's doing stuff. So we've got a full overlay between the different deals. Oh, now we got a third ship coming in. Wow, it is off today. But I don't want to lose this mission, so we're going to take it. Because when you log out and log back in, it will clear all of your missions. So I'm going to move all these over. I'm going to stage all this stuff over here. I'm going to, then when I get ready to load it on the ship itself, I'll let you know. Now, I could, and potentially probably should, be standing over here because this one has enough range that I can grab those. So now I can grab this and I can run it all the way down. I don't know how many of these there are for 103, but I'm going to run it most of the way down. How about there? We might have to play with this later. But I think that'll give us enough room. Maybe I'll come down here and look. I like to get like the first row set up, and then I can just kind of slam everything else down into it. Yeah, that's pretty close. I don't know. We might have one more SCU of room there. Oh, that was a landing gear that just about crushed me from another dimension. And we've got another ship in here. Ah, Great Cutlass Red. I haven't flown one of those. That's like the medical version. So if you want to run an interstellar ambulance, that might be your ship for you. That's your life flight right there. So I can stand over here. I can bring these over, and I can load them up. So without further ado, to save you from some of the jank and some of the delay, this is what you earn your money for right here, loading cargo, and that's why I want higher levels of missions to have bigger cargo. I've got bigger ships. I would like to not have to load all these little things. So that's what we're hoping for today. Anyway, I'll be back when it's loaded. All right, we are loaded up, so I'm going to hop on my cargo container here because I got a little bit of room left. There's an elevator into the ship for just normal entry, but we're going to hop here onto the cargo elevator. We're going to ride it up because I got one SCU of space here, which means I have probably one on the front too, like I mentioned. So I didn't let it perfectly loaded, but we got everything on without any problems. So this ship has essentially 3 layers of official. So just like we have here, one that's 2 SCU high by one that's 1 SCU high. However, you can in fact get another SCU throughout most of this ship. So you can get significantly more if you're willing to live with the risk that it's not being held down. It's just bouncing around in here, and it can shift and move, and cargo does shift and move. And sometimes it shifts and moves and warps its way right outside the walls of your ship, or it does damage within your ship that can be catastrophic. So this is the safest max kind of safe height you can go, but the reality is you can get another level throughout a lot of the ship. Now you can see some of these places, we run up through here, have the arm that sticks in, right? So, but right here, it'll go all the way up another full SCU. And what I do is I load the bottom with these, oops, ships are still coming in and out at me. I'm still in the hole. One thing it tells you is just how busy the game is, legitimately. How many people are playing. I've never seen this before. There's a new experience every day. Again, just embrace it. I'll do these 8 SCUs, right? So they're essentially 2x4s, right? They've got 2 of these. This one in the top there on the right, that's a 4 SCU, right? So 4 in one level, this just is 2 of those levels, right? So I'll do those all the way down. I can get 14 of those in, 7 on each side, and then I can get 7 more of them centered up on here, and that's super easy to do, and it kind of locks in place between these little wedgie deals there. So it's pretty easy, but you can get more in here depending on how you want. I said that this ship also has an additional kind of hidden cargo, and that is back here. And so you have to bring this stuff up on the cargo elevator and then carry it back here by hand and get it into that. And you can get another, I want to say like 6 back there, something like that, a little bit more. So that's your extra space. And yeah, you can see I left room, a lot of room up there actually. All right, so this is our space. I said if you have a ship with a bed, you can log off in space. This is where the beds are in this. This is a multi-crew ship, so it's got multiple beds. You've got a kitchen. It's got everybody's favorite pop-up table. Very yacht style, right? A table that comes up and goes down. Maybe we should be able to convert it into bed and carry one more crew. This is your elevator down here. You can open this airlock and there's an elevator that'll take you up and down. You've got gun lockers right there. You know, think like in a cop car, they've got a thing to lock the shotgun into place. Well, this is a place for everybody to have their firearm locked into place. And then we've got lockers here that you can put gear as well. And this is the bathroom. Bathrooms don't really do anything yet. They're all kind of wet heads with a toilet that'll slide out. Again, think kind of yacht space. This is our hangar. Our turret down here is what has our tractor beam on it. I'll show you that at the next stop, and we will get into the pilot seat here. And we will head off to Riker Memorial Spaceport, and then hopefully when we get to Riker, we won't have all this mess. Alt-R will bring everything up. Otherwise, you can hit U, will bring up most of your systems, but not spool up your engines. And then you have to hit I to spool up your engines. You have a series of components in here. Now, I've been having some weird issues lately, just the last couple days, with these settings get changed. These are my settings. So right now, I've got one in guns. I don't really need guns because I can't shoot them in this mode anyway. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to give myself an extra one. We'll see what we got. Whoops. So let's cruise along down here. So this is my shields again. I don't have shields in this mode. So I'm going to turn... I flat out turn them off now. This is my quantum jump drive, which is what this mode is going to be for me. This is my tractor beam. My radar. I don't know why my radar's not on. Why is my radar not on? I'm going to bring down... whoops. Don't go away. Take that to 3. I want a radar. Now my radar's on. There we go. Maybe we'll take this just down to here. These are my coolers. Coolers are used to cool your quantum engines and also your ballistic guns. Lately it's been turning one off and then I don't have enough cooling for the quantum and it won't jump for me. It'll cancel it off, or it'll be halfway through a jump and it will turn off the cooler and bring me out. These things changing randomly is my newest, most annoying bug. I've got one extra. Let me put it back. It needs at least 3 engine, I think, to warp to quantum jump as well, and that's another thing it'll drop. It'll turn things on and drop that down and kick out as well. Now, I don't know for sure, but I think if I then... So we've built it here. I think if I change modes, flip through these, we have different master modes. So we're in nav. So the first one was quantum jump. This one is just flight, and then this one is for scanning. And they can be set up differently, and then you also have a special space combat. Now, if you see... my little arrow pointed up there, it points, it says SCM gun. We're in gun mode, we're in missile mode, we're in scanner mode again, and then there's some additional special modes for mining and salvaging and stuff. So you can see my shields are coming up in the top left because I'm in combat mode. And you look down here, you can see that, in fact, my guns are on, my quantum jump is now off, right? So now the goal is when we go back into here, hopefully, our settings are going to be what they want, and I'm hoping that's going to lock those in. With guns off, shield off, everything else set the way I want it. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. We're going to hit F1 to go ahead and set a warp point, a quantum jump point. We're going to go to maps. If you hit F2, it'll take you directly to maps. That's my previous one. I want to go to Riker. I can just click this usually, and it's going to pull it up here. Now, today, it's decided not to like us, and that does happen. If you back up, it will take you to the next section. Or if you just type in the name, it'll come up here. Whoops. Is it not spelled Riker? How's it spelled? R-I-K. No, that's it. Ruin. Does Riker not exist at the moment? All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to have a point. In fact, you can see a little yellow diamond in the upper right. That's pointing us to our area. I'm going to ask for clearance. We're going to talk to the control tower. I just hit Alt-N, left Alt-N. There's a hangar queue. That's not surprising, judging by the number of ships flying in and out of us. Again, I've never seen this before. There's something new and wonderful every day. Anyway, we're going to wait for... there's X number of physical ports built into the game. So we're essentially in a queue waiting to get one of those physicalized things where it will take our instance, it will make it physicalized within the station itself in one of the available spots, and then the doors will open and we'll be able to fly out into space without a loading zone, without a loading screen. Normally it's not a big deal, but when you're busy, and this is the busiest I've seen it early. Now it is a Friday morning when I'm recording this. That's got something to do with it. And so East Coast, it's almost 11 o'clock on the West Coast, which means, people are maybe getting off work, getting done with school, and hopping on the East Coast. Now you can change between regions, Asia, Europe, Australia, and the US, I believe. And then if you have friends that play, you can sometimes shard hop. So within one region, there are multiple servers and shards that are going, and it tries to put you on the same shard every time you log on to a region so that all of your stuff is where you left it. That's the idea. There's not a way in place at the moment for you to just change shards within a region. They've said they'd like to do that, but it hasn't happened yet. But if you have a friend, your friend most likely, he logged on the first time, he ended up on a different shard. And so potentially you could say, hey, join a party and hop over to him and change shards that way. So there's a few ways to do it. But the easiest way to change shards right now is to change regions. And so we could log off and find one that's hopefully not bugged like this with our hangar, but then we'd lose that mission. And it's there, and we're loaded, and I don't mind. It doesn't bother me. I think it just adds spice to what could be otherwise maybe not the most exciting mission in the world. There we go, our quest is completed. This is going to be our door opening. I'm going to wait to see it open a little bit here. Make sure it opens. I'm going to zoom out a little bit here. There we go. There we go. That's what it's supposed to look like. We have lights we can turn on and off. I'm going to turn them off for the moment. Our landing gear is down. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to take off real quick. We're just going to pop up here in the air a little bit, give it a little bit of thrust. Now I'm going to close my landing gears. Everything's going to kind of go back to its flight configuration. Their landing gears popped up there, and we're going to ease out. Now, if you have your landing gears on, by default, there's a setting that slows you down dramatically, down to about 29 meters per second. Once the landing gear goes up, though, that goes away. So we're just flying out here, and you can see I can go up to, in this ship, 1,000. Now I'm going to bring it, if you hold Alt and use your scroll, it will set what your max is. What that's going to do is, it's going to change how far each click of your throttle moves. Right, so right now I've got a max of 240. So now if I tap it down once, you can see it just took me down to 236, so 13. Now let's go ahead, we're gonna run that all the way up to 1,000. See the planet down there with the cloud formations. And so what happens is now when we do one click, we're gonna get a lot more than 13 meters per second change in our top speed. And therein lies the issue. So we're at 999 right now. I'm gonna click it down once. You can see it takes us down to 935. So 65-ish, 64-ish for one click of the button. So when you're coming into mouse, you don't want to give it one click and all of a sudden you speed up 64 meters per second and fly through the back wall like we saw that Spirit do, that C1 do. You don't want to do that. So when you're coming in and you're maneuvering in slow areas, go ahead and just use your speed limiter. So left Alt and your mouse wheel will roll it down, and then you're going to get something much more reasonable for what you're doing. So I come in to the station, you come in about 22, 24 out. I come in about 400 or 500, and then as I come in, I slowly bring it down so I don't run into something, so I have good control over what I'm doing. Now I'm going to leave this max, but I'm going to hit X, which is going to set my speed to 0. It's going to decay because I am in what's called coupled mode. I think it's coupled versus decoupled. Essentially what happens is, pretend you're in atmosphere with gravity right now. It's using the thrusters to make things more consistent and understandable. However, you can decouple that. Some of these actually have a spot where you can manually click it. This one doesn't, but if we go to here, you see here we have coupled mode. If I click this, now I'm in decoupled mode. And what happens is, if I hit the jump jets here, we're going to get a little bit of burst, and now I'm doing 15. Notice my speed went back down to 0. My throttle went back down to 0. Every time I hit it, I go up a little bit more, right? Because I'm in space. There's nothing to slow me down. There's no atmosphere slowing me down. So I'm going to keep going that speed. Now, I can now spin this way, I can rotate using throttles, but I'm still moving that initial direction. See that little blue kind of target point off to my left window right above my head? That's where I'm going. Right? Ignore the alarm. That's saying that I can't jump to Walla Walla right now because there's something in the way. A planet, right? Now I could. So I'm still moving in that direction. So as we go here, all of that stuff is happening. So now if I were to fly this way, for instance, I'm going to start to apply thrust this way, but I've still got thrust this way. This way. Get lined up with the camera here. So as I apply more thrust, that's going to slowly come back in line with where I am and cancel out the thrust other directions. So that's coupled mode. So now as I speed up, see that dot moved up and now it's almost there. Now I did that with forward thrust, right? So now, but I could also scooch that left right using strafe. So if I strafe right, we're gonna see that come over, right? If I strafe left, you see it, and there's a little red arrow off to the left. As I push these buttons, you're gonna see that force, that thrust happen. I go up, I go down, and we can whoops, that's forward and backwards. I can strafe down, theory. Oh, hold on, I'm using the wrong buttons. X is slow down. Control is strafe down, and you see it goes down, and the little target goes down. Pause is strafe up, right? So I can come in here and I can do this. Now, this is great in space like this, but when you come into a space station, one little tap like that moves you a lot. Now, it may not move you as much if you play with the max speed, and I need to play with that because I'm learning the game too, right? That's it. I'm learning the tricks as I go. But that's kind of how decoupled mode. You'll keep flying the way you're doing. It's fun. It's great. You can swoop it in, spin, hit the brakes, move in, and look real cool like in the movies. It's easier to fly in coupled mode, but the more advanced way is going to be the decoupled mode. And ultimately, you'll be able to do things in decoupled mode that you can only dream of in coupled mode. So I say start in coupled, but then start playing with decoupled as you get going. Now, we have to find out where I need to fly, and that's where I need to fly right there is that shipment. I am in quantum, but it is not giving me the jump. So I'm going to try a couple things here. I'm going to try going out, back, and see if it gives it to me. It doesn't always. It's on the planet here. You know what? I can do two things. I can, Riker is the space station at the actual capital city. I can do two things. I can fly in the 206, it's not that far. We can get there pretty quick at 1,000 meters per second. As we enter the atmosphere, it is going to slow us down. We're not going to be able to maintain the same speed. Or, once again, we can try to come in here to our map, and we can say, okay, I would like to go to Riker's, and it still doesn't like me. But what I'm going to do is, I'm going to zoom out here. See where the map is. And I'm just going to click it here. See, Area 18 is the actual city. So now if I go here, will it take me there? Area 18. There we go. So the map sometimes is flaky. Again, figure out your things. But there's a lot of workarounds, and I can usually get it to work the way I want. And you can see right there, now Area 18 shows up. I'm going to take us out of our quantum jump mode so you can see how this works. So on the right is the engine warming up essentially, or cooling down. It's getting ready. And then on the left is it doing the calculations to do that actual jump. So the right is the engine spooling up, the left is the computer doing whatever math it needs to do to make a quantum jump. So when you're ready, you hit the left mouse button, and in theory, our cooling is good. You see we've got yellow there. Maybe it could be happier a little bit more, but I could upgrade those later if I want, and I probably will. We've got our radar, we've got our internal health systems, right? Our oxygen, our heat. Our tractor beam's on, not important for this mode at all. In fact, you know what? Let's try turning it off. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that extra power there. Now notice our cool went down to 0, or the alarm went away, right? So now, once again, I'm going to change modes in theory to hopefully lock that in. I'm not sure which one is the easiest way to do it, but I'm going to do all of them. And then hopefully, there we go. Our setting stayed. And now it should be the default for that. We're good. Everything's going to spool up, and I'm going to hit left mouse button. I'm going to hold it down for just a second. You can see there's kind of a little upside down caret in the line. That means hold your key. So instead of a quick click, it's a long click. And we are going to warp in the Riker Space Station at Area 18, Riker Memorial. We're on the night side. Sometimes that's some cities makes it easier to land. Some it makes it harder to land. We're gonna get a nice little overview here. Maybe we'll be able to see. In this case, because we have an actual location, that location is at the spaceport. So I know that I really actually need to be over here, and you can see all the red runway lights, more or less. It's not runways, but for Riker Memorial. So once again, I'm going to set my max speed. I'm going to set it somewhere here about 400, and we'll boost up to the top. And when we get within about 10 of the city, it's going to give us the option to talk to the traffic controller. And I'm going to go ahead and put us on our comms up here. There's our comms. Retouch is one of my friends in game, so any friends that are in game will be up there. And so then I'm going to zoom in, and when we get close enough, we will see the comm link for the traffic controller, and we can request landing permission, and it will again give us one of those physicalized hangar locations, which we can go in, and when the door is closed, it will become an instanced hangar location in theory. Again, this is a busy city. We're probably going to end up in a queue on this one again. I'll save you from waiting in it. When we get there, I'll cut that out for you. Again, landing is hard. Landing going down for me is hardest, especially when you're in a really long ship like this that barely fits in the hangar doors. You got to be pretty dead on with this one to get it in. This one, it's a lot easier to fly in when it goes where you're flying in the front. What you doing, Buddha? Huh? What you doing? Oh, yeah? Are you being a good boy? Yeah? Okay, hop down. I gotta not run into a planet. And Alt-N will, again, you don't have to click the button if you don't want to. I'm gonna hit Alt-N. I am first in queue. We're in the rain here. You can see it's all rainy and misty. So I'm gonna hold my spot here until my queue's up, and then I'll bring you back for the landing. All right, we got our hangar bay. I'm gonna come up in here. I'm going to go a little bit fast. This ship does not slow down very quickly. This isn't a terrible location for us. It's reasonably close to where we are, so we don't have too far to fly. I'm going to bring down our max speed here as we close in. If we look, we can move down here. We're in this one right there that you can see is open. The number 6. So I'm going to stop here. I'm going to figure out where it is. There it is. I'll come back up to this view, and in we go. So we've got enough time here. I might be able to get all lined up here perfectly. A little side strafe here.
Warning, leaving safe zone.
So, by leaving the safe zone, my hangar is we call it demilitarized zone, essentially, right? So if somebody tries to get in my hangar, see, we almost lost it there. I'm going to go ahead and put down my landing gears here. Let's bring the nose down a little bit. Go. Now I'm going to change my view here a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to back up a skosh, and I'm going to start to come down. And we'll kind of hopefully squeeze through. Go fast, before the door squishes me in half. Because I have had that happen. The slower the ship, the harder it is to get in the 100 seconds that they give you to make your approach. The farther away it is, the bigger the ship is. Small ships, easy to zip in and out. Big ships, pain in the ass. Keep in mind that. And there we go. The door's closed. We are in. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the engines, but leave the rest of the ship up and running. I'm going to change our mode quickly. I'm going to change this to a gunnery mode. Whenever you are on the ground, not so much in a hangar, but on the ground, you should always be in gunnery mode so you have shields on. If you land on a planet and you walk away from your ship or you're not paying attention, somebody can come up. If you're outside of the armistice zone, somebody can scavenge all of the hull off your ship, where they have essentially these laser abraders that zap everything up and suck it up and take it. If your shields are on, your ship can't be scavenged. If your doors are open, people can walk in. So your doors should be up, your shields should be on. Right, if you're on a planet. Now, in this case, I'm doing that because we, if you remember, turned off our tractor beam within that other mode. And so I'm just going to flip over here, make sure our tractor beam is on. Then I'm going to go ahead and hop out of the pilot seat right here. We will hop into this. The hangar doors are generally, or the cargo bay doors are always open when you come in to a hangar. at the moment because they don't maintain persistence. So when you come in, their default is open. So in this case, we can go ahead and unload and use. Oops. Oh, hold on. Let me. Sometimes your view gets wacky. There we go. All right. So we're in the deal here. Let's go ahead and is it on? It says power on, but I don't have a HUD, so I'll hit it one more time. There we go. Oh wait. So I'm going to spin around here. We're gonna figure out where. So that is the easiest hangar for us to get to. You know what I forgot to do? Can I lower the cargo from here? That should be a button I should have in here is lower the cargo bay door from this turret right here. They should add that. If I was a customer of this, that's what I would ask for. Hold on. Let me come up here. We could do this from the pilot seat, or we can open all the exterior. Because I'm going to be facing backwards here when we climb out of here, I'm just going to walk back here to the back door, and we'll just push the button. There we go. Now we'll come back in here. Hop back into the turret. Seat comes up. I think the seat would just live up, you know what I'm saying? When there's nobody in it. All right. Zip back around here. And grab the first one. Bumped off the bottom there. Now, when things are in an active tractor beam, they don't do damage. You can use these as kind of a fun bludgeoning weapon to annoy your neighbors when you're out on a planet doing this, and they're in your way. By smacking them with it, it'll knock them down, but it won't hurt them. It won't hurt your ship either while it's in a tractor beam, but if the tractor beam breaks, the ships are physical. There's a physics engine, right? This is physicalized, and it will do damage. I think I can push these back like one more. What I like to do sometimes is this is why it's easier to do this by hand, because you can get closer. I go kind of all the way back. I think that's the very back spot. But you can kind of push it back till you no longer get a snap-in point, right? And then bring it forward until you get one. So that would be the back row there, but we're just going to kind of kick that there. Once you get your first couple in place, it's easy. So I'm going to use this to unload, and then we'll be back to turn it in. All right, I've got all my cargo put away. Our ship is there. Our elevator's down. I don't know if you can see that sticking down there. So let's go ahead and turn it in. So once you've got everything loaded up, you're going to come over here to the cargo thing again. And now when we click up, or down in this case, we're going to lower it down into the warehouse, we should get a pop-up here that says, hey, this goes to a contract order versus a sell order. So now I can go ahead and confirm. And it's going to tell me that I completed the mission, and then it's going to have a little pop-up telling me I got paid, hopefully. Now, it does occasionally fail. It hasn't really for me, but I have seen other people say that these missions haven't failed, or you can turn in multiple missions at once if there's room on the bay, and you should get paid for both of them. I have heard people say that they got paid for one or not the other. You can see we got our 56,000 AUC there. And so now, if I go ahead and check, and we will see that hopefully, yes, I do have a little bit more money. And I'm going to check my rep, because that's the whole point I've been doing this. I can make more money doing other things in the game at this point, but I'd like to get my rep up, so potentially, there we go, member, I could now get more difficult missions. So I'm going to take a look now and see what the member missions look like. And we're going to go to offers, and we're going to go to hauling. And now I've got 77 missions, member rank small. All right. I don't see anything crazy here. I've got to get material from Lively Pathway Station, and I've got to take it to the three main kind of spaceports, stations in the system, right? These are all the ones over the capital cities, Port Tressler, Everest Harbor, Bajini Point, which is where we started. So, but it pays 85,000 as opposed to 59,000 that the junior pays. Let's see if we can find a member. That's a small. Here's another small. Again, few stops. Pays 123. Now, notice this, very little material needed here, right? 5, 4, 8, and 8. So 16, 20, 25 is all you need to do this. This would be perfect for like a Drake Cutlass would do this easily, because it has like 46, I want to say. storage. So, or you could do this on like a Hull A really easily. It's got plenty of room for this. So there's a lot of small ships that can do this and make good, reasonable money. And in fact, it's probably better, honestly, if you're going to do small missions and make this type of money, to do it in a small ship because it's a lot easier to fly. So that is small. There are also extra small. Let's go ahead and take a look at a junior medium. Now look at this. Direct planetary, so it's one run down to the planet. It's going to be medium, and it pays $73,000. There we go. Scrap from Bajini Point down to Samson and Sons Salvage Center. Not too bad. So they do legitimately pay. Here's a medium small for $90,000, right? And again, 2, 5, 10 SCU is all you need to do this. Really, really easy to do. Now there's a few jumps, but again, you can take a few of these. Like if I had my Drake Cutlass and I have 46 SCU or whatever I've got, and I do 10, I can do 4 of these missions at once, right? And if they all require stopping off at similar points within the system, no problem. All of a sudden, 4 jumps to get paid for once, 4 jumps gets me paid 4 times, right? So there's a lot of ways to do that. It just depends on how patient you are, how well you want to kind of micromanage this stuff. If you want to just do direct, you can, but ultimately the real money is going to be made in taking multiple missions at once and dealing with figuring out your pathing, right? Just like in the real world, right? Who figures out the stops that go and keeps the fleet going where it needs to do to maximize your efficiency and your time in the game? Do we have anything other than medium? Do we go up to like large cargo yet? I'm just seeing medium so far. I'm fine with that. The ship I'm trying to save up to buy is another cargo ship that actually holds less than this, but I like it better. The Raft. So I'm trying to make 3.5 mil to do that. Now, I can make a lot more money doing other things in the game, or I could. Now, all of a sudden, I'm wondering, I might be able to make some close to money with these more expensive if I can stack up a few of them. But that's my goal. And that, in a nutshell, in a very long nutshell, is kind of a rambling guide to both life in the verse, setting up your ship as far as setting up power and kind of a basic mechanics in flying, as well as a primer in cargo hauling in Star Citizen as life exists right now in the alpha in 4.0. See you next time. Cheers.